Hey, hi everyone, and welcome back to this video series on Windows Server 2012. Install the Hyper-V role. Now it's time to see how to install Hyper-V server role on the two installation options of Windows Server 2012, namely a full installation and a server core installation. Installing Hyper-V in full installation mode, you can install the Hyper-V server role on any Windows Server 2008 or 2 installation for which the full option was chosen. In addition, the server must meet both the hardware and software requirements. The installation process is simple, as exercise 9.1 demonstrates. Exercise 9.1, installing Hyper-V in full installation mode. 1. Open Server Manager. 2. In Server Manager, choose option 2, add roles and features. 3. At the select installation type page, choose the role-based or feature-based installation. Click Next. 4. On the select destination server screen, choose select a server from the server pool and choose the server to which you want to add this role. Click Next. 5. On the select server roles screen, click the check box next to Hyper-V. When the Add Feature dialog box appears, click the Add Features button, then click Next. 6. At the Select Feature screen, click Next. 7. At the Hyper-V Introduction screen, click Next. 8. At the Create Virtual Switches screen, choose your adapter and click Next. 9. At the Virtual Machine Migration screen, click Next. You want to use migration only if you have multiple Hyper-V servers. Since we have only one for this exercise, just skip this screen. 10. At the default stores screen, accept the defaults and click Next. 11. At the confirmation screen, click the Install button. 12. After the installation is complete, click the Close button. 13. Restart your server. Installing Hyper-V in Server Core. The Server Core installation option is introduced in Windows Server 2012 or 2. It creates an operating system installation without a GUI shell. You can either manage the server remotely from another system or use the Server Core's command line interface. This installation option provides the following benefits: reduces attack surface because fewer applications are running on the server, reduces maintenance and management because only the required options are installed, requires less disk space and produces less processor utilization, provides a minimal parent partition, reduces system resources required by the operating system as well as the attack surface. By using Hyper-V on a server core installation, you can fundamentally improve availability because the attack surface is reduced and the downtime is required for installing patches is optimized. It will thus be more secure and reliable with less management. To install Hyper-V for Windows Server 2012 or 2 installation, you must execute the following command in the command line interface: DSIM /online/ enable feature /feature Microsoft Hyper-V. Hyper-V in Server Manager. As with all other Windows Server 2012 or 2 features, the Hyper-V role neatly integrates into Server Manager. Server Manager filters the information just for the specific role and thus displays only the required information. As you can see in Figure 9.3, the Hyper-V summary page shows related event log entries, the state of the system services for Hyper-V, and useful resources and support. Using Hyper-V Manager. Hyper-V Manager is the central management console to configure your server and create and manage your virtual machines. virtual networks, and virtual hard disks. Unlike Virtual Server 2005, where you manage all virtual machines through a web interface, Hyper-V Manager is managed through a Microsoft Management Console, MMC snap-in. You can access it either in Server Manager or by using administrative tools. Hyper-V Manager. Figure 9.4 shows how Hyper-V Manager looks once you start it. Hyper-V Manager is available for the following operating systems: Windows Server 2012 or 2, Windows Server 2008 or 2, Windows Server 2008, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows Vista with Service Pack 1. Hyper-V Manager is installed on a Windows Server 2012 or 2 machine only when you install Hyper-V on it. On Windows Server 2008, 2008 or 2, Server 2003, Windows Vista, Windows 7 or Windows 8, you will need to install the Hyper-V Manager MMC. You can use Hyper-V Manager to connect to any full or server core installation remotely. Besides Hyper-V Manager, you can use the WMI interface for scripting Hyper-V, configuring Hyper-V settings. In this section, you will get an overview of the available Hyper-V settings for the server. You can configure all server-side default installation settings like default locations of your configuration files or the release key. You can open the Hyper-V settings page in Hyper-V Manager by clicking Hyper-V settings in the Actions pane. The Hyper-V page includes the following settings: virtual hard disks, specifies the default location of your virtual hard disk files .vhd and .vdhx. Virtual machines specifies the default location of your virtual machine configuration files. It includes the virtual machine XML configuration files, part of the virtual machines folder, as well as related snapshots, part of the snapshot folder. Physical GPUs. This feature allows for a graphical processing unit GPU accelerated video with a virtual machine. The GPU will allow you to support 3D GPU accelerated graphics. NUMA Spanning. An administrator can configure Hyper-V to allow virtual machines to span non-uniform memory architecture (NUMA) nodes. When the physical computer has NUMA nodes, this setting provides virtual machines with additional computing resources. Spanning NUMA nodes can help you run more virtual machines at the same time. However, using NUMA can decrease overall performance. Live migration allows a Hyper-V administrator to relocate running virtual machines easily from one node of the failover cluster to another node in the same cluster. Storage migration allows an administrator to move their virtual machine storage from one location to another. This setting allows you to specify how many storage migrations can be performed at the same time on this system. Replication configuration. This setting allows you to configure this computer as a replica server to another Hyper-V server. Hyper-V Replica allows administrators to replicate their Hyper-V virtual machines from one Hyper-V host at a primary site to another Hyper-V host at the replica site. Each node of the failover cluster that is involved in Replica must have the Hyper-V server role installed. One of the servers in the Hyper-V Replica needs to be set up as a replica broker to allow the replication to work properly. Keyboard defines how to use Windows key combinations. Options are physical computer, virtual machine, and virtual machine only when running full screen. Mouse release key specifies the key combination to release the mouse in your virtual machine. Options are Control Alt left arrow, Control Alt right arrow, Control Alt space, and Control Alt shift. Reset checkboxes. Reset checkboxes. Reset any checkboxes that hide pages and messages when checked. This will bring any window up again on which you checked the do not show this window again checkbox. Managing virtual switches. A virtual network provides the virtual links between nodes in either a virtual or physical network. Virtual networking in Hyper-V is provided in a secure and dynamic way because you can granularly define virtual network switches for their required usage. For example, you can define a private or internal virtual network if you don't want to allow your virtual machines to send packages to the physical network. To allow your virtual machines to communicate with each other, you need virtual networks, just like normal networks. Virtual networks exist only on the host computer and allow you to configure how virtual machines communicate with each other, with the host, and with the network on the internet. You manage virtual networks in Hyper-V using Virtual Switch Manager as shown in figure 9.6. Using the Virtual Switch Manager, you can create, manage, and delete virtual switches. You can define the network type as external, internal, only, or private. External. Any virtual machine connected to this virtual switch can access the physical network. You would use this option if you want to allow your virtual machines to access, for example, other servers on the network or the internet. This option is used in production environments where your clients connect directly to the virtual machines. Internal. This option allows virtual machines to communicate with each other as well as the host system, but not with the physical network. When you create an internal network, it also creates a local area connection in network connections that allows the host machine to communicate with the virtual machines. You can use this if you want to separate your host's network from your virtual networks. Private. When you use this option, virtual machines can communicate with each other, but not with the host operating system or the physical network. Thus, no network packets are hitting the wire. You can use this to define internal virtual networks for test environments or labs. For example, on the external and internal only virtual networks, you can also enable virtual LAN, VLAN identification. You can use VLANs to partition your network into multiple subnets using a VLAN ID. When you enable virtual LAN identification, the NIC that is connected to the switch will never see the packets tagged with VLAN IDs. Instead, all packets traveling from the NIC to the switch will be tagged with the access mode VLAN ID as they leave the switch port. All packets traveling from the switch port to the NIC will have their VLAN tags removed. You can use this if you are already logically segmenting your physical machines and also use it for your virtual ones. Exercise 9.2 explains how to create an internal only virtual switch. Creating an internal virtual switch. 1. Click the Windows key Administrative Tools Hyper-V Manager. 2. In Hyper-V Manager in the Actions pane, choose Virtual Switch Manager. 3. On the Virtual Switch page, select Private and click the Create Virtual Switch button. 4. On the new Virtual Switch page, enter Private Virtual Network in the name field. 5. Click OK. When you create the internal virtual switch, a network device is connected in network connections as shown in figure 9.7. Managing virtual hard disks. In addition to virtual networks, you need to manage virtual hard disks that you attach to your virtual machines. A virtual hard disk is Hyper-V apart from a pass-through disk, is a VHD or VHDX file that basically simulates a hard drive on your virtual machine. The following sections will first show you what types or virtual hard disks are available and then show you how to create them. You will also learn about what options are available to manage virtual hard disks, type of virtual hard disks. So type of disk description, when to use it, dynamically expanding. This disk starts with a small VHD file and expands it on demand once an installation takes place. It can grow to the maximum size you defined during creation. You can use this type of disk to clone a local hard drive during creation. This option is effective when you don't know the exact space needed on the disk and when you want to preserve hard disk space on the host machine. Unfortunately, it is the slowest disk type. Fixed size. The size of the VHD file is fixed to the size specified when the disk is created. This option is faster than a dynamically expanding disk. However, a fixed size disk uses up the maximum defined space immediately. This type is ideal for cloning a local hard drive. A fixed size disk provides faster access than dynamically expanding or differentiating disk, but it is slower than a physical disk differentiating. Okay. This type of disk is associated in a parent-child relationship with another disk. The differencing disk is the child and the associated virtual disk is the parent. Differentiating disks include only the differences to the parent disk. By using this type, you can save a lot of disk space in similar virtual machines. This option is suitable if you have multiple virtual machines with similar operating systems. Differencing disks are most commonly found to test environments and should not be used in production environments. Physical or pass-through disk. The virtual machine receives direct pass-through access to the physical disk for exclusive use. This type provides the highest performance of all disk types and thus should be used for production servers where performance is a top priority. The drive is not available for other guest systems. This type is used in high-end data centers to provide optimum performance for VMs. It's also used in failover cluster environments. So I'm going to leave it here today for this video. If you like listening, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.